17 years ago, I got really passionate about it. I learned what was going on in the world. I went through scarcity. I had sold a mortgage company that did 1.3 billion in revenue.
Wow.
And bought a boat, lived on the ocean for a year, moved to Costa Rica, and that's when I learned permaculture. And that's where I got really passionate. I also read Pilled. I learned what was going on in the world. I learned that we are using our resources in an unsustainable way. And all unsustainable systems fail. And I had 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters. And so I got into a scarcity mode saying, how are we going to fix this? And then I read Bill Mollison's quote, though the problems of our world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. And I started to sob. That was about 17 years ago. And I've spent every day since asking the question, how do we win this war? How do we overcome? How do we triumph? How do we catalyze a shift in awareness that leads to mass adoption of simply taking the poisons out and growing food instead of lawns? Because when we make that logical shift from an insane strategy to control people to freedom, then we solve mass extinction and deforestation and cancer and diabetes and heart disease. We end hunger, we end tyranny. Abundance destroys scarcity. Scarcity is the catalyst for fear, and fear is the catalyst for war. Right? So we destroy all of that and we create peace on earth in general terms by simply taking the poisons out and growing food instead of lawns.
Okay. All right. It's a nice place, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We are 100% off grid. I can't wait to show you around.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this
Off
is-
grid, you said?
100%.
What does that mean?
Well, we don't have any energy. We produce all of our own food, water, and energy here on site.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Off
100%.
grid. Okay.
Yep. So we don't count on the government or any of those unsustainable supply chain systems for anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we show other people how to do it. Yeah, when you leave here today, we'd love it if you could leave with some sweet potatoes, some other plants if you want.
Yeah.
Just put them in your yard and they become an infinite free energy source.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is awesome. I
Yeah.
would love that. I would love that.
You
I got
got
a
it.
nice little space.
Boom!
Yeah,
That's what
that
it's
I
all
could
about.
Do some planting.
Yeah.
I would love that.
What does the term mean, propagate?
It means grow. Basically,
Okay.
take either a cutting or from a seed and grow a new one. These yellow flowers are edible,
Yeah.
and they're the main function of this crop. It's a cover crop, and it's meant as a soil healer. So it's like an earth living band-aid, and this is like a scar on the earth. And this, if we let it, it will come up and it'll heal that soil.
Wow.
And that's the main kind of trend you notice here. There's no bare soil, right?
Yeah.
It's either going to be covered with some kind of cover crop or mulch, lots of mulch.
Wow.
And
That's
if we-
very interesting.
Yep, and if we see bare soil, the first thing we do is cover it with mulch, and then we start seeding it so this can spread. So this was just a few plugs, a year ago, and now it's the whole thing.
So would it be a good thing to like step on it? Can you step on it?
Oh yeah.
Like regular grass.
Yep.
Oh,
Like
okay.
regular grass, just way
Wow.
better.
Except you don't have to cut it every 2 weeks.
That is awesome.
Yeah, right.
That's the
And
benefit,
this
Which
right?
is tedious, I'm sure.
Yeah, and this little one here, this is called Mexican sunflower. We got a lot of bigger ones, but you just chop off a stick of that Mexican sunflower, lay it in the ground, and this grows.
Okay.
This is a pioneering plant.
Yeah.
So pioneers are something that can be the pioneers in an area to create habitat, shade, wind block, and then biomass.
Okay.
So that one, you chop and drop it. As it gets bigger, you just chop it, drop it, and then that builds soil.
Wow.
Speaking about not having to cut grass, is it virtually possible to make an entire yard to where you don't have to cut grass? And just
Yeah.
just live off of it,
Yeah,
and
that's
little to no maintenance.
100%. Like this area here, I'll show you this area here. This stretch is about 42 yards long, about 9 yards wide. And in this stretch, there was 73 different food producing crops planted here. Perennials.
Okay.
Perennials basically are plants that you plant once and they continuously provide food more and more every year forever.
Wow.
All right, for a long time. And annuals are tomatoes and cucumbers and squash, things that you plant and then you harvest, you take the seeds and then you plant again. Well, perennials are almost no maintenance.
Okay.
So this is way less maintenance than a lawn, and it's 73 different types of food. Isn't that crazy?
That's a small area too.
I know, it's a little
Most
stretch.
people have this.
Yeah.
Is this a service that you guys offer? Like, for example, me being a homeowner, and as I mentioned, I have a small yard, and I do have some food-producing crops there. Not much, but like, for example, I'm not an expert in, let's say, planting, but I do use some greens in my cooking that I would like to get from my backyard, such as, let's say, maybe onions, tomatoes, peppers, and stuff like that.
Cilantro.
Is this cilantro? Yes, cilantro, which is something that I like, and some greens like that for cooking that could assist in some of my cooking. Now, is this a service that you guys provide? Like, for example, if for hiring you guys to go and plant and designing a little area in the backyard.
That's exactly what we do. We have a team of permaculture designers and installers.
Okay.
And yes, that's what we love to do. Is we love to design yards to be the most functional and the most yield producing they can possibly be.
Okay.
And then we have other teams that do the install work.
Okay. Okay. And you do this like in the form of planters?
In the form of
Or
building
just
soil.
Building soil.
We make it
okay.
as simple as it can be. We make growing food like this whole. Come over here. I'll show you something. Like this whole idea of everything we know about farming, and they call it traditional farming. There's nothing traditional about the way we're farming right now. Traditional farming is this, right? The new traditional farming is monocultures, mining and destroying soil and using poisons, and modifying the crops so they work with poisons. That's radically unsustainable, and it's cancer, diabetes, heart disease. It's the main cause of all of that, right? Where this is a living salad bar right here, right? Wow. This is a sweet potato vine. Not only are the leaves edible, but so are the stems and of course the sweet potatoes. And then you mix that with some basil. Come over here, check this out.
Wow. I like to grab one piece too.
Let's try that.
Yeah, let's try that.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's got a good taste to it.
Right? Here, check that one out.
What is this?
So that
Wow.
is another kind of Jamaican cherry,
Oh, white. I never had the white one.
right?
Wow.
Yeah,
And
there's
they're
a lot
so
of
sweet.
The yellow ones are ready. Yeah. So you can mix this in your salad. You can add some.
I like these probably even more than the red one.
Color Jamaicans and white Jamaicans.
Yeah. I only had the red one.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Now you come to this. This longevity spinach. Right? So
interesting.
have as much as you want. In fact, what you can do, take that home, put that in the ground. Now you've got your own living salad bar.
Are you serious?
And this is way healthier than any lettuce you buy at the store. It's called longevity spinach because it helps you live a long time.
If you were to go this route and let's say do a little restructuring in your backyard and plant some food, some grown food, let's say, will you eliminate the grass that's currently there?
I would let this stuff take it over.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Other people do eliminate it. Sometimes people either cut it out or put cardboard on top.
Okay.
I like where you just get it real short and you put this stuff in. This will kind of take over and take the shade, the sun away from the grass, which will slow the growth of it. And over time, when you get some canopy trees, the grass does not grow in the shade.
Okay.
Right? Have you ever seen it under a big oak tree? The grass is really sparse. That's what these canopy trees are for as well.
Wow.
The soil here is the gold.
Right.
Right? Even if all the crops were gone and we still had the soil, we could put stuff back in and it would all come back.
You mentioned soil. You mentioned the crop. This brings me back to the parable of the sower.
Yeah.
Depends where the seeds fall, it will bring the fruit that it will bring. So if it falls some bad soil,
There you go.
wow.
Some will fall on
This
the
is
rock
awesome.
and saying,
So not only is this good, but it's biblical.
spiritual.
Yeah.
It's God's design.
Yeah. And you figure with the expense that most people have, like for example, I'm a homeowner and I have, my water bill goes up because now I have to wet the grass. So you figure an average, my water bill maybe on grass a month is probably $100. And then I'm spending about another $40, $60 in fertilizing this grass. That doesn't produce anything.
Just
So
to-
right there, there's
just to walk on it.
$150.
It's a liability.
It's a
Yeah.
liability.
We turn that liability into an asset by taking the poisons out and putting in this landscape.
Yeah.
And it goes from an expense to something that brings joy and health and financial benefits. Everybody
And
wins.
it's prettier. Like when, I have it. I'm in an HOA community, and I have it. I live in a corner lot, and I have just one strip of different types of fruit trees. Everybody that walks that slows down to look at it, right? Nobody slows down to look at the grass.
No.
Right? It's not something that people are eye-catching about.
I mean, now think about it. Look at most pets. They want to go ahead and do their thing on the grass.
Yeah.
Because it has
And
no
even
value.
with the HOA, you're not even getting penalized for growing a farm on the side of the house, right?
They send some letters. Yeah.
Are you disregarding the notices?
I talk to them, and I just keep it well maintained, and I keep it away from the sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
but if you hire someone like Jim professionally, they would actually create the plan and then submit it to the HOA in
For
advance
approval.
to
Okay.
avoid. And everything is Florida-friendly landscaping, so it's justified because that's crops that our county wants us to grow because they're water
They help
conservative.
the bees.
They help the
They
bees.
help everything. Yeah, the Florida friendly landscaping law, it trumps the HOA. You know, so
Oh, that's awesome. That's
it
good
is.
to know.
Just like in solar, HOAs cannot stop you from putting on solar.
Correct.
Right, so same thing here, and it's important that we fight these unethical and insane laws. You know, they want you to put an astroturf and kill all life, right? That's what their laws allow and subsidize. Where this, which is freedom, the foundation of freedom, is taken out as somehow bad or harmful or whatever. It's
And
a
highlight
trick.
this parking lot. What was?
Yeah, because before the parking spaces were just in the
Yeah.
field of grass, and now you guys have isolated the cars to park in between these.
So these rows.
So
Yeah.
it's like function stacking.
It's exactly right.
Right.
So imagine this, in 3-4 years, this will be canopied by plants, or at least partially. In 5, 6, 7 years, it'll be completely canopied. So you'll drive in and you'll have pineapples and mulberries and citrus and lychees and other citrus. And then you go on the fence and you start picking passion fruit and grapes. So this whole thing is a food production system. You want some more salad crops? You hear some cranberry hibiscus.
And you can eat a bunch of that, like.
flavor.
They're intensely hallucinogenic.
Jaden, you
one
gotta
leaf
try
and you
that.
can feel it in 10 minutes.
You gotta try it.
I'm kidding.
And losing
All right.
The younger
That has
ones
very
are
good
the
taste.
Mhm.
Wow,
Isn't that cool?
Mhm.
This is it.
There's a bunch of like little lemons and
Isn't that
citrus.
just amazing? Just that one thing. There's so many kinds of food
Pineapple.
here.
I see pineapples on every one. I mean,
Right?
you can see it because those leaves are kind of distinct.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a brands, right? We grow up where we can name 1,000 brands, right? We know McDonald's, BMW, right? But we don't know the brand of a leaf,
Right?
right? And if you walk by this and it's food and you don't even know it's edible, right? It's like, you know,
No, you look at
we,
it. You
it's
might
not the
think
resource, it's
poisonous.
the like the awareness of the abundance around us. Because even if we have it, but we're not aware of it, we would go hungry because we think maybe this is
Yeah.
the red is poison or something when
Yeah.
really it's medicine. So
I wouldn't have thought of eating this, and it tastes just like
and
cranberry.
it just
folks.
tastes just like cranberries. So,
What is that?
This is a
I thought it was sweet potato, but not anymore. Now I have to look at-
hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
And now look at, now this is the ultimate solar panel.
Okay.
Right? This takes the sun's rays, add a little water, add some nutrients in the soil, and it turns it to food.
Wow.
Right? I like that solar panel is way more complex than anything we've ever created. Right?
We could do our best imitation.
All
Tell
right.
us a little bit about your background. How did you come across making this transition in your lifestyle?
So I realized after reading Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich,
Okay.
whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
Amen. Yes.
Right? And that's also biblical.
Mhm.
As a man thinketh. And I start playing with that. I start saying, well, where's the limits to that? There are no limits to that. We are all somehow in the mind of God. And when we settle and become present and aware, and when we realize that service and love and joy is the ultimate thing to do, all of a sudden messages start coming. And I kept getting these downloads one after another, these messages through presence and prayer and meditation. And right now we have the solution, very clearly and demonstratively the solution to the world's biggest problems. From everything from cancer to war. When we have mass adoption of this, we take out scarcity, which takes out fear, which takes out war. And so I have 4 daughters, and they're my primary motivation.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, we built 10 homes here.
Okay.
We did not ask for permission.
Okay.
We're completely off the grid. We've told the government that we're not dealing with you because what you're doing is killing everything.
Wow, this is looking amazing. None of this was here last time I was here.
Yeah, all these trees were just put in the ground.
Yeah, this looks fresh.
Yeah.
So this is how it'll look in the beginning. So this will be your first couple months you plant here.
Yeah, this is a good show of walking through time of a food forest development. This is a month in the ground. That area was there 15 months in the ground, and where we're going now was about 30 months in the ground. And you can see just the explosion of life coming.
And you can see the mulch is a very important part of building the soil. And believe it or not, there's some companies that they have to pay to dump some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so for this mulch, do you have a company come out
Yeah.
and they just dump it? And
They dump it for free.
So this is sustainable,
Regenerative.
regenerative.
Next level.
Yeah.
Sustainable is baseline.
Yeah,
We're
so-
going.
And the way I like to think of that is, hey, how's your relationship with your wife going? It's sustainable, right? That might not sell as well, you know.
Yeah.
But if you say regenerative, it's getting better and better, progressively better.
I'm gonna get this in the background if you won't mind, buddy. So on Christmas Eve, it was my birthday. I didn't have anything to do. I was walking around here, and this fence had nothing on it. There was no life anywhere. It was just dirt. And I asked the question, what would this fence look like in the Garden of Eden? Just for fun. Instantly, the vision came. It would be a green wall of food. So I went and grabbed sugarcane right at that moment, and there's all sugarcane all over. And I just started laying sugarcane an inch under the soil. All that sugarcane that you see there is a result of that. And then I put beans, and now we've got grapes and passion fruit. So within another 2 years or so, that whole fence will just be a green wall. Now here's the functionality of that. Sugarcane, you could take a chunk of it like that, you cut it in chunks, and we have this mechanical grinder. You put in the mechanical grinder and it has a spout on it, all of a sudden you got a glass of sugarcane juice, which is good for you. Right?
Add in some lime.
It's, yes.
Yeah.
Then now mix in that grapes and passion fruit and lime and whatever. Now you've got a replacement for the toxic Gatorades of the world. And it's all right there. That's function. This is our original shallow water well. It went down 70 feet.
Shallow.
Yep, so we still could use it, but we don't need to anymore now that we've got the bigger wells done.
Yeah.
This is just to keep the food forest alive because we planted it in the dry season on bare soil. So we needed to have some irrigation. That's the thing about food forest. At the beginning, once it gets established, it's its own system, right? Especially if it's a larger scale one. But at the beginning, it's like a baby. You got to make sure that it has the right love, the right nutrients and food. And it's not hard to do. You simply walk and observe. And if I see these leaves turning in or turning yellow or drying up, I'd be like, oh, that needs some love. And then I could take a picture or a video, a 10-second video, hey, what do these look like this, and post them on our channel. And all these experts would say, oh, you need this, you need that, you need the other thing. Right? So there's the groups are out there to immediately answer all the questions. And that's one of the things we're coming to the world with is a marketplace specifically dedicated to that. Before the hurricane that came through last week, that row, you could not see anything through that row. There was 10 times as many leaves. So what that did, it performed its job, its function, was to be a wind block for the banana patch on the other side. Bananas are strong, but you get a big wind, especially if a banana is ready to fruit or it's fruiting with that heavy thing. We lost about maybe 10 banana plants out of hundreds. But without that Mexican sunflower, we probably would have lost 50. Right? So that served a great
It's
function.
kind of like the beach, how they plant those sea grapes
Yes.
and different things
Exactly.
to help the wind and break up the waves. So look, what I like about, so all this, right? Some people will take this, right, and dump it to the front of their yard, and this is trash to them. For us, this is the soil. We'll take this and literally put it right back in the ground, and this is the free mulch. And all the nutrients are in here. It'll go back into the soil, feed the worms, feed the the little critters, and so we never take things out of the system. Everything, if anything, we bring stuff in, but there's no trash.
Yeah.
You know, there's no waste.
That's it.
You know.
Yeah, there's no waste. You just recycle, repurpose, reuse. So the land is raised up here compared to here, and the function of that, we created a banana circle. We put good soil here, and then
It's like
when
a dip.
we have a rain event, the rain is funneled into here based on the land, the raising the land. And then when we have, you know, cow manure or something, we just throw in the middle there, or just plants, like Steven said, they'll decompose, and then the roots will come in and they'll grab it. And then it's like, look at this. Right? So this one here, you could tell. So
Look at the bees.
I know a lot of
Beautiful.
bees that they love. The bees love this. In the morning, it's just loaded. So this is all brand new soil. It was just on a bed of sand, and the root system of the banana is going down and it's searching for nutrients. And based on what it found, the nutrients it found, it produced this many bananas. Next year, as we build soil, these are all potential bananas. So next year it'll have twice as many. The year after that, it might have 200. It's all about building good soil. Yeah. So this is an artist by Hank Willis Thomas, a black fella out of South Africa who suffered through apartheid, and it is the most incredible kind of piece of art for right here. My partner Marcel is an art lover. He saw this. He said, "We got to have that at Galt." So this is the symbol of tyranny. This is the British police baton, right? This is the arm of the farmer saying, no more. We're not putting up with that anymore.
Wow.
So this is what we do, is we demonstrate freedom on every conceivable level, but we do it very strategically. We're not just sitting here screaming and yelling at people who are doing it wrong. We're doing it right, and we're inviting them to join us. So we built 10 homes here now, and we did not ask for permission. And I got, about 7 months ago, I got a call from Carlos, my buddy. He said, "Jim, there's a guy in front of your house, that house, that white one right there." He said, with a clipboard and a badge, asking for building permits. I felt the adrenaline go through my body. I stood up straight. I know we're doing the right thing. And I walked over, and I turned on my video camera, and I started recording. And I walked up. And I said, "Hey, my name is Jim Gale. What's your name?" And he said, "My name's Alexi." I said, "Well, Alexi, I'm recording this conversation so we don't mix up any words here. How did you get permission to come on my land? Implied consent is not granted, and it's posted." Now, my expectation was that he was going to act like an authority over me and say, "I have the right to be here," which he doesn't, according to the legal system and the lawful system, which are two very different systems. The legal system is the undoing of God's law, of natural law. Right? So I asked him this question, and I expected him to say, "I can be here because I'm the government." He didn't say that. He said, "I'm sorry, the gate was open, so I came in, but I'll leave if you want me to." I was like, "Oh, I like this guy." Right? He's not imposing force and violence on me and thinking he's better than me. He's simply here doing a job as maybe a partially ignorant representative of an entity that is killing everything. And so I said, "Well, come into the food forest. Before you go, I'd like to show you what we're doing." And then I stood here. I said, "We are here to serve the land and create exponential abundance for ourselves, our community, and our surrounding community. The food supply chain is being destroyed. The cost of food is going up, and we're here to demonstrate the solution that can be scaled and change the world." And after about a 15-minute conversation, he had a tear in his eye. He said, "You're right, I'll never bother you again." So this is what we need, we must do. We must stand firm, and not with anger, not with hatred, not with any of that energy, but simply say, "You're doing it wrong, and we're here to invite you to do it right. We cannot follow you because you're leading us to death. You can follow us, though. We represent nature or God's design." How many people are going to say no to that when they're standing here?
Right.
Right? Because again,
It's undeniable.
it's undeniable. You can smell it. You can feel the frequency of life here. Like you can hear it. It's like a symphony.
Today, I came not expecting this. And just with the short time that I'm here, it's like, this is something that people need. People need this because people already have the soil. They just have to do a little work. and convert their soil into, even if it's not crop producing, but just
Life producer.
life producing, because there's gonna be even healing, restoration for the soul and all this. So this needs to be brought out in a way where it has to be marketed so people can know it through the mainstream. Because what you have here is a valuable resource that can help so many people. Because look, with the short time here, it's like, I just want to take you home with me.
I love it. I'm going to show you something. I'm not just scrolling. I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you asked the question, how do we scale this? So do you know Bobby Kennedy?
Okay, he's a Kennedy.
Yeah, he's the guy running. He ran for
Yeah,
president. He
yeah.
was third in line, and now Trump and him teamed up.
Okay.
Right? So that's Bobby Kennedy and I talking. And I shared with Bobby Kennedy the solution to all the world's biggest problems. I said, Bobby, and I created a campaign strategy that I just wrote it down. It came to me as I was meditating here in the food forest. And I started writing it down with tears in my eyes. And I then put the message out through our networks. Next thing you know, I'm sitting next to Bobby Kennedy, and I said, Bobby, the campaign strategy that I'm going to share with you, this is a year ago. I said, not only will it win you the presidency, but the campaign itself, you standing on the stages that I'm going to lay out for you, will solve all of the world's biggest problems, and it'll put an end to war. And it was 4 campaign strategy talking points, because that's what politicians do. They come up with a talking point,
The frameworks.
a framework, and then they make a claim, right? Some say, I'm going to end cancer, right? Well, we got that. So, but here was the 4 points. The number 1 point, the first point I handed to him, I said, we're going to take the poisons out of the school lunches and school land, and the children are going to heal. Okay, and here's exactly how we're going to do that. So my vision was that Bobby Kennedy was at a school surrounded by students. The students and Bobby are all digging in the dirt, and they're planting edible crops, and they're learning about creating life and building life into the system. And here's the good part. When Bobby says we're gonna take the poisons out and reverse childhood diabetes and cancer and depression and all of these things that children are suffering from, while they're in a food forest on film as his stage, right? Well, this has been done. So this isn't a hypothetical solution. It's been done over and over and over again. Every school in which the students are in the soil and they're growing food, not only do they learn how to create life and grow poison-free food, but all of their problems in general go bye-bye. Right? So if the only thing we did was inspire a shift to turn the schools into nurseries, into food production systems, that's the only thing we did that would change the world, right? Because now all the students learn about the land and regeneration, which is what we need more than anything right now. The pendulum has swung all the way to systematic ecosystem and ecological system collapse. We're in the 6th mass extinction. And he used my exact talking point on Tucker Carlson a week and a half ago. Yeah.
From eroding.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you built these homes, no permit,
No permit.
no county permission,
Nope.
no inspection.
Nope.
Very interesting. Who was your general contractor?
A guy, New Energy World. So it's they're out of state, but they came in and lived here while they built them. This is ginger, another great medicinal,
Loads of
delicious
sweet
herb.
potato. Oh man, loads of sweet potato.
Yeah.
Pounds and pounds of food.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this window is nice.
You don't want to kill the plants, the wood.
Well, the first thing is that
This is
it's got to
solid.
be termite free.
Oh yeah.
Hurricane window.
Termite free structure.
Yeah. No termites, no fire, no mold. The 3 biggest issues.
Right.
And durability.
And durability.
And less waste because you're not cutting it. Everything is built
Yeah.
like
it's-
3D scanned
Yeah,
basically.
it's all the
When you
architect.
print it.
Take a picture.
Of course, you got videos, pictures.
Intriguing.
Yeah. There was nothing here. It was a flat cattle pasture that ran across. And we wanted to build this land up. We had the 500-year flood just 2 Octobers ago, and that whole cattle pasture was underwater by a foot or 2. right? Worst flood in 500 years. And while we were out of the water by 6-7 feet because we used the material from that hole in the ground, right, which is 3.5 acres, 25 foot deep, and we used that material to build this land up. So this land came from 10 feet underground, so it was dead land. There's no life in it. Then we put water hyacinth in the pond, and the water hyacinth is known as an invasive, and they say you should spray it with glyphosate and kill everything. No, you shouldn't, right? The water hyacinth within about 15 months took this brown muddy pit, right? It's all ground table water, so when the water came up, it was just mud water. It was orangish in color. Within about 15 months, it was clear, and the water hyacinth grew exponentially. And then we took about 95% of the water hyacinth out of the water, and we put it around the banks to build soil. Then we looked at and observed the growth rate of the water hyacinth, and once the water was cleaned, the water hyacinth was not invasive.
So
That's
basically
profound.
what you're telling me is that it grows based on the need of the water to get clarified.
Yes. It had a job
Purified.
to do.
Yeah. It had
And-
it understood its assignment.
Yes.
And then once its assignment was complete, it
It chilled out.
rested.
It rested. And it just became a maintenance system.
Right.
Because it's a filter feeder. So now what is that saying? The same with dandelions, which you brought up. All of these plants, these God-given natural plants, they all have a job to do, and that's to create abundance for us. The poisons take out the ability to do that job.
And the weeds, I heard, those pioneer plants, the reason those weeds grow is because the soil is compacted. Weeds have really deep roots, and they actually,
Writing down.
exactly allow that soil to and the water to go through. Then once the soil is really good, the other plants that we consider not weeds or whatever grow over it, and then the weeds go away naturally. You don't have to
spray
you
chemicals
know,
onto them.
That's exactly right.
It served its purpose. It broke up the soil, and it wasn't something that nothing else would grow. Only the weeds would grow there, but it's better some life than no life, because life will perpetuate more life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I guess the keynote here is task, right? Even the trees have a task to do all these functions. We too have a task, and our task should be to shift our mind, change our mind, and start doing this to Mother Nature, partnering with Mother Nature. So like that, we could see the abundance, we could have the restoration, we could have the healing, and we could live better lives.
Abundant.
Yeah,
Abundance.
abundantly, just like it was promised. I noticed here in Central Florida, there is a whole bunch of landscapers. Landscapers to help you control your weeds, to your grass and stuff like that. But landscapers, you guys need to make the change, and I think there's a lot more service you can offer your buyers if you educate yourselves a little bit about this new revolution that's been going on, and it's a new service that you can offer. And rather than going out there and just providing a cutting of the grass, you can educate your clients and your customers to just transform their landscape. And I mean, by doing so, it may even bring you additional business and the maintenance of it, because now there'll be more for you to do, because there's a lot of landscapers out here in Central Florida. And if at the very least, landscapers, you need to hop in, connect with us, connect with Jim, and follow Jim, because Jim can educate a lot into what to do with some of these landscapes that is required. And I think a lot of people will take a lot of joy in stepping out. There's a lot of retirees here in Florida that they have nothing better to do, and you see them watering the grass and stuff like that. And if they had a little task to go out there with a purpose, and find something, they could go out to the backyard. And like you said, food is so expensive right now.
It's
No,
going
they,
up.
They can grab food
you
and,
can
and
grab
make
food.
salads for the family
I mean-
and prepare the dinner for
You
the
know,
evening.
It doesn't feel like work when I go outside.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's a
looking at,
joy.
I'm like, oh, look, what do we have here? And then, okay, throw, a little trim here, and then you're not really, it doesn't feel like work. Cutting the grass feels
Yeah.
like work. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, like, you can make me do this?
but I noticed I grow probably a jalapeno pepper, which they're nice. But check this out. When we get our little crop and we decide to cook with our little crop, it's like it invites the whole family because, hey, you're coming for dinner. We're using the peppers that we just got from the backyard.
That's it.
And let me tell you, it even brings unity. And there's this little sense of pride that it's like, you know what? These are my peppers. You know what I'm saying? From my backyard.
That's awesome.
And it's like when I do cut them out, it's like I showcase them and the countertop because I put them in a little plate and I showcase them because this is right. You know?
Right?
So folks,
That's so
it's like
awesome.
this is awesome.
Yep, that's
is
the
awesome.
way. It's healing. People that garden live longer. Like that's a fact. They're healthier and they live longer. When you have visitors, to have them stay here, they'll love it.
How much do you
There's a
charge per
website,
night?
right? Yeah, there's the Airbnb site.
Yep, it's Galt's Landing.farm and then you can take you to the Airbnb. Some of them are 150, some of them are 225, and then the big house is 300.
And what is offered aside from just the stay? Does the
That's
stay
4 bedrooms.
does the stay come with a tour?
It comes with a tour, yep.
Okay.
And all of the food that you want to harvest is yours. So you can go out and pick food. You can pick eggs. You can.
The
amount of
chicken.
Sweet potatoes in Yucca alone is just incredible. We cannot hide from what's happening now. You can't hide because this isn't just about government. There's a good and evil thing happening here. It's bigger than government. So that's why we're very publicly declaring that we are free. We're going right into the heart of the beast and shining a light that is undeniable.
It's a need. It's become a need. You know, with all the global warming and all the damage that we're doing to the earth, hey, wouldn't it be nice to do something good for it? Something good to it? Because at least if every person will contribute just a little bit to society and to the earth, I mean, I think
Everyone can experience this.
it'll solve the problem.
Everyone should. This should be everywhere.
This is what we should be born into.
Exactly. Born into a foundation where food is everywhere, and it's not free. If you want a plate served on a meal, you should pay for that. But if you want to go harvest some food, you should be able to walk a few minutes and have access to food because that's the way it's meant to be. You know. Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they want to go off grid or do this kind of thing, a major thing is like, oh, what am I going to do with the waste, right? What about my sewage management system? So you just highlight like, okay, so someone staying there, they're going to have to poop, right? What happens? How do you guys manage your own sewage?
I love it. So our system, in fact, there's a bag right back there. It's called home biogas. So what in every septic system should have a methane capture system. And then what do you do with methane? You turn it into cooking gas.
Okay.
So on our unit over there, we have a little cook stove, and it's just right from the gas from the toilet. And any four-person family home can produce about 2 hours of cooking gas a day.
Wow.
Wow.
It should be everywhere.
And you don't need more
Literally
than that
no
to
waste.
cook.
Yeah.
And then some of that goes into the pond, and right?
Yep.
And then there's specific plants to filter out all
It becomes nutrients. See, this idea of poop being a bad thing, no, it's just decomposing matter. It's life.
Yeah.
Poop is just part of
It
life.
should be recycled. You said there's nothing wrong with toiling a little bit for your food, for the food. But when you think about it, it's in Genesis, after the fall of man, that God, part of his curse was, you must till the ground. You must till the ground.
Right?
It's part of the curse that we have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's by nature.
It's not the curse. It's the order, the command.
order,
Stewardship,
The
yeah.
stewardship. You must, you know, you're
Trample
gonna
the land.
trample the land and eat from it with your sweat. That's
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
And
amazing.
this is the sweet potato, right?
Yeah.
And what's the best way to get the cutting?
There you
Is
go.
there any-
Just grab it, yank that whole thing out of the ground. Just pull it. There you go. All the way. There you go.
Oh, all right. And it doesn't matter if I have the root or not, right? It'll
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Just like that.
just like that.
And then
I'll take that one.
yeah, you got that one. So all these little nodules here, they're all putting out little hairs. Those hairs will go down.
all be roots.
Yep, and they'll all be roots. Like this could probably turn into 3 right just by itself. But yeah, there you go.
Oh wow.
Put that in the ground, and you will be growing massive amounts of free food. And the leaves are edible too.
Yeah, because I love sweet potato, and I don't. The fact that I'm not growing it,
What else can we take here from you today?
Did you already get some longevity spinach?
No, I took something over there that I left. I'm not
Okay.
sure what
That
it
was
is,
the
but
longevity spinach.
I'm going to go ahead and plant these in faith,
Love
not
it,
knowing
love
what they
it,
are,
love it.
then
Yep.
take some pictures of it, and then find out what they are exactly.
Beautiful. And then spread the abundance. Because so here's what's happening, you guys. And I might be wrong on timing, and who knows, I might be wrong about all of it, but I'll just share this with you. The food supply chain is already poisoned. It's already been destroyed to a significant degree. When the supply chains collapse, which could be happening now, right? With all the stuff going on, with the strikes that now are solved, but they might come back, with the roads being cut off, all of a sudden the supply chain ends, the Fed and the money printing end, all of this stuff happens at the same time, and what is our biggest concern going to be here in Florida? Food. People will be starving. So the more we can create a foundation of food where we have abundance so everybody eats, that is literally the key to our success over the next weeks, months, and years. And then once we get beyond this, on the other side of it, which can happen in very short order, 3-4 years, we could solve all of the world's biggest problems like that by demonstrating and then calling it out and shining a light on it.
Very awesome.
I wanna share something with you, Jim. You shared a lot with us, and maybe I'm just gonna throw it out there. It probably occurred to you, and it probably occurred to you, but I have a sense that this place needs some sort of a marketplace so people could come and visit, and it helps with the revenue, and also even a restaurant, even if it's a salad bar restaurant where you're showcasing some of the food that you're able to grow here so people could get educated. That'll invite visitors over here, and you can showcase
And host,
your product and host it, because
Certain chefs.
because
Special chefs.
Love that.
I mean,
idea.
you can. I mean, a nice little farmer's market that is open and you're just sharing, even if you're just sharing things like this for people to come.
I can't wait to share something with you.
Yeah.
So right now, and we're looking, if anybody out there wants to be part of this, we're doing it right now, is we're creating a CSA school. Now, a CSA is Community Supported Agriculture. We're going to bring 25 students in here. And the students are going to manage the food production and the greenhouse and the meals, right? Now check this out. It's going to be technically a private school, but the parents will probably pay about $1,000 a month per student. But the students are going to grow all of the food that their families need.
Oh, wow.
So for $1,000, $1,200 a month, the students within 6 months the families will have all of the food needs met from the school. By the end of the first year, the students will be producing enough for their families and a surplus for this community. And then they sell the excess. So within 2 years, this school is hyper profitable. Now imagine if the students are spending 2 out of 8 hours a day times 25 kids. That's 50 hours a day of labor of kids planting seeds and propagating plants and harvesting plants and putting them into what you just said, the little grocery store.
Yeah.
Boom. We just had a major food supply chain link connected to the community.
Ecosystem.
And the school is, by the way, anybody listening, this is not my idea, it's your idea. 25 students paying $1,000 a month is $25,000 a month. You've got 2 full-time teachers getting more by 50% than they are in the normal school system. And then you've got a permaculture gardening pro that is there as well. So you've got 3 people employed, you've got 25 kids. Within a year, everything is being paid for by the value created from the students while they're learning permaculture.
Here's what I want to do too. I would like for our company to be the sponsor of one of those students.
That's amazing.
And then I would like to invite other business owners who I know
That's
to
amazing.
also sponsor the other 24.
That's freaking amazing.
So like that, we offer it as a scholarship opportunity
Tears
for
in
those
my eyes
25
here.
students.
That's epic. Yeah. And then to everybody else, let's do this. This is your school, right? Everybody wins, and this can be duplicatable. So any 2 or 3 people can get together anywhere in the world. And based on whatever the income range is in that part of the world, you can fund the teachers. And then the teachers become the stewards and help the kids and help guide the kids towards learning the ethics of permaculture and the principles and how to create life again.
And with the grocery store, it also gives them an opportunity to learn entrepreneurship, the business, and all that ties into God's purpose.
Yes. Yes.
So that's a great educational
and
piece.
I haven't looked as much into it, but how much is the government or the state currently spending per
$8,000.
per month?
They're willing to give any parent who chooses private school $8,000 follows the student, the kid.
Per year.
Per year. So there's 2/3 of the cost right there.
That's 8 months right there of the
So
cost.
basically, we just have to cover the 1/3.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The other 4 months.
Well, sign us up.
That's fantastic.
We would like to create an
That's
agreement
amazing.
and also utilize that to spread the word.
So wait, the state will actually give the money to the parents or
Yeah,
for the students for
to the
alternative education?
Yeah. $8,000.
That's a
Schools
game.
are full right now, and it's like, I mean,
I did not know that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this model, anybody listening, let's change the world. Take it and just do it. Right?
Right.
We don't want to control anything. Now is a time not about control, because control doesn't work. Right? It's about allowing. It's about inspiring, empowering, and creating awareness, shining a light in the dark, and then that light. Wow, that's what changes the world.
I got a motto. I got a motto here, folks, and let's use this motto.
All right.
Our motto is going to be from the ground up.
From the ground up, right there.
From the ground up. From the ground up. Let's join the movement, folks. Let's join the movement. From the ground up.
Come on.
From the ground up,
Ground
folks.
up.
From the ground up.
I like
Boom. Yes, from the
Thank
ground
you so
up.
much.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Jim, thank you so much. I mean, I wasn't really expecting this.
Right?
I wasn't expecting this, and you just blew my mind.